In the Bible, there was a time where King Jehoshaphat, was stranded in the desert. And when he was stranded there, they were going to die of thirst. And immediately Jehoshaphat asked, he said, is there any prophet of the Lord that we can besought to hear and consult the Lord so that he can help us? And then they went to go and find Elisha. And when they found Elisha gave them direction and they were able to do something. And that was how they got saved. But I thought to myself, in the midst of that painful situation, his first opinion was to go and meet another man to help him hear God, for God to save them. The Old Testament was just a full description of what it means for a man to lack intimacy with God. Jehoshaphat could have prayed to God on his own and asked God to help him. But the Old Testament was just all weird. There was just distance between man and God. Even in the temple, there was the Holy of Holies. Only a priest could enter once a year. There was this distance between man and God. And that is what Jesus Christ came to take away. Christianity is not a religion, it is a lifestyle. It is a relationship with your Creator. The more you know God, the more you become like Him. That is why when you come to God, we teach you how to have a relationship with God. Because it is from that relationship that everything else changed. When Peter was locked in the prison and an angel came and set him free, he told him that go and stand in the temple and tell everybody about this new life. He didn't say tell people about this new religion. He said tell everybody about this new life. It is a lifestyle. And that is what you must understand. When Jesus died, the curtains in the temple were torn in two. That was to signify that it no longer requires only the priest to approach God in the Holy of Holies. Anybody can now approach God. You can approach God in your room. You are the temple of the Holy Spirit. He dwells right inside you. But you see, there are many of you that are still trying to take us back to the Old Testament. There are many false ministers that get up and they use the Bible to preach that only prophets can hear God. You need the blessings of a spiritual father. You need the higher anointing. All these rubbish doctrines, which was not what Jesus intended. Let me tell you something. Every single child of God can hear God. We are all prophets, because you must understand that a prophet is somebody that hears God. And Jesus said, my sheep hears my voice. The moment you become a child of God, you are not capable of hearing God's voice. That is why it is required for you to have a relationship with God. What does relationship mean? It means you talk to God and God talks to you. God talking to you already means that you are a prophet. But as you go in a relationship with God, you now begin to realize that God has been talking to you for a very, very long time, but you have not been understanding what He has been saying. So that is why I tell all of you to begin to mature. Ephesians 4:14 says that so that we will not all be children, tossed around with every wind of doctrine, easily deceived. So God's will for you is for you to mature on your own in the doctrine of Christ, and be able to hear Him when He speaks, and be able to do what He tells you to do, and to fulfill His will on it. That is God's will for you. So get mature.